we're going to start putting arrays to work in this video. Basically, I'm going to copy and paste some code right now for my drawing of a target algorithm or a method or function. So here is a target that we're going to draw. Let me delete this stuff here. And we're going to set the color to for the outer target, let's just say that we want it to be black, followed by white, followed by the inner target black. Okay, well, we have a method to do that. We need our other two methods that we use in processing. The first is the setup function, where we define all of our kind of basic attributes of the program, and then the next one is the draw function that will loop over and over. Obviously, now the point of this tutorial is to show you how to get, let's just do 10 balls, or 10 targets bouncing up and down. Okay, so we need to have, for any criteria or any attribute that we're going to be editing individually, we need to have an array that controls the containers for each, in this case, target. So our target y equals a new float array called of size, let's just do 10. Okay, and this one we're going to have the we need each target to have its own y speed, and so we're going to have 10 targets, so we need this array to have 10 containers, and then we're going to set up a variable for the I'm going to call it the floor, and I'm not going to give it a value just yet. And then we'll set up a variable for the target x, which is going to be fixed. Actually, each of them is going to have their own target x. So we're going to say this is a new array of float values containing 10 containers. And just to keep everything orderly, I'm going to put this up by the other arrays, and I like to have things super orderly so it's ultra readable. Alright, so now each array can have its own y position, or I mean each target is going to have its own y position, its own speed, and its own x position. And if we're really keeping these things orderly, and a lot of people like that, we should have x first actually, and then y, and then the y speed. That looks a little bit better. Alright, we're also going to make these things bounce. So we're going to have a float that defines how heavy gravity is. And now in the setup function, we need to first of all just create the window attributes the way we would like. And so I'll have this be 400 by 400, our window. I'm going to say that I don't want there to be outlines on any shapes that we draw, so I specify no stroke, not stoke. And then we have to give initial values to all of our different global variables here, or fields they're called. So I'm going to create a loop that is going to help us do that. For int I equals 0, we're going to start I at 0. We're going to go as long as I is less than target x dot length, so the length of the array, which is 10, so it'll go as long as it's less than the length of the array, meaning that it goes up to the index 9, and then I'm going to say I plus plus each time. So every time through the loop, I will be augmented or incremented by 1, excuse me. Now we need to give values to each of these things. So let's say we want the target x values to start at like, 10 or something. So target x at I, at the index, equals the index times width divided by target x dot length plus, let's just start it there. Sure, let's see what this does. I want the target y values at I to all equal 0 at first, or let's do 0 at first. So they're all going to start at 0. And then the target speed at I, we're going to start the speed all at 0. Oops, target y speed. Okay, so we have initial values for all of our array containers, but we still need a value for the floor, and the floor is going to be the height of our window minus, let's just say, 100 pixels. And gravity, I'm going to set that equal to 1.5 as an initial value, and you can play around with those numbers just to see what works. Now, each time through the loop, we need to do all of our things. So let's, first of all, we're just going to draw our targets. Then we're going to change the target's attributes, so position and velocity, etc. Then we're going to check for bounces, check for the bounce. Alright, so let's draw all of our targets. So we have 10 things. So for int I equals 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. We're not going to draw an ellipse, we're going to use our function here to draw things for us. So we're going to say draw target, and we want, target. We want to send it 3 different characteristics, circle x, circle y, and size. So we're going to send it circle x at I, target x at I, target y at I, and we'll just set up a size of like 20 at first. Okay, so we have something I believe that will run at least at this point. And you can see there are 10 targets up above. Yeah, they're a little bit small, so I'll make them bigger. And they're not being drawn over a background, which I forgot to do here. So we're going to say background. We'll have it be a white background. And then now we're going to change the target's attributes. So we're going to adjust each target's, and actually we're going to do this inside the loop because we don't want to do it over and over and over. So we'll draw the target there and we'll change its attributes here. Or we could just do another loop, frankly. So if that's easier for you to kind of see it first, let's do another loop. So we don't have to draw the targets in this loop. In this loop, we're just going to say circle y at I plus equals circle speed at I. Oh, and I keep saying circles. They're targets. Target y. And then target y speed at I needs to be augmented by the gravity, or we need to add gravity to it. Now, if we run this program, I believe our targets will fall off the screen, but then they'll just keep falling because we haven't checked for the bounce yet. So we need to do another loop and check for bounces here. So in this loop we say if target y at I is greater than the floor, Then we want to have it bounce or send its velocity in the opposite direction. So we just say target speed, target y speed equals negative target y speed. But we needed to do that at I. And I'm pretty sure they're going to start bouncing here. Yep. So that's good. We're going to adjust it. They're bouncing too high. We have to set a max velocity and stuff, etc. And we'll do that in the next video.